We are Jana and Friedrich from Red King, and welcome to episode 2 of the Try Making Of. And in the last episode you learned about the beginning of Try as Friedrich's Ludum Dare game jam version. And today we want to talk about story. Back in university we were used to do games of a much bigger scope. Or we did prototypes, and the ideas behind these games were much bigger than we do today. And we also had a lot of effort on story, like Omerta, which was about birds that lived on an island and were mafia-like. And you had to build clans and protect your boss and stuff.
Yeah.
Or about life and death. Their kind and stuff like this, about nature and protection of nature, and everything was very deep
and killing.
But when we founded Red King, we realized that we could never make such games again and decided to be more realistic.
Well, it were prototypes, so
yeah, right.
it were never games really. So finally we could make real games.
And made them very small, like Pitman or Tumbleox or Karoshi, games that didn't have a deep backstory. They were just games with a little...
Mostly, yes.
Yeah. And so we decided to have a much bigger game this time to finally add a bit more story, because we love to create stories, right? And why was the story necessary for Troy?
We are still not very sure, are we?
Yeah, because the game works without story pretty well. The only thing missing is maybe player motivation, or why the player is in this room, why does he have triangles and stuff like
and
this.
And we also didn't want the typical test chamber game.
Yeah, right. We absolutely didn't want to clone a certain game, so we did everything to not look like this game. And what was our first story idea? Tell us.
If I remember correctly, it was about some mathematician who lived in a madhouse, and it was very Kafkaesque. He drew triangles everywhere, and he always thought and talked about triangles, and you were this guy. And he did this stuff because he dreamt of a device that would enable him to make triangles in the world. And the mindfuck of the whole thing would have been that he already created this device, and he actually was drugged by his evil rival who wanted this device for himself but couldn't find it, so he tried to convince his colleague to give him the secret somehow.
It was a bit inspired by Brazil, I think. The bureaucratic, totalitarian system that was around all this should have been the setting.
There also was a book by Stanislav Lem, Memoirs Found in the Bathtub, which really reminded me of this world we tried to create back then.
Yeah. And why did we scrap it? Sounds
was
great.
So cool. Mainly it was just too much stuff. We wanted this madhouse, and he would have been in some cellars and crazy mansions, and it should have been crazy all the way.
And he would have did a breakout and runs.
He would have been
dreams.
Yeah,
Don't
right.
The dreams he
He
had.
would have been in dream worlds and real worlds and mixed.
I don't know who should have built this game.
Yeah. Stock art.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so we had a lot of story and a little bit of gameplay, making triangles, so we thought then it would be really too much story. We would have been concentrating too much on the story.
It wouldn't have fit the gameplay,
and
or
the
support the gameplay.
And last but not least, the story of this mathematician was very restrictive, so if we wanted to change the order of the levels or scrap a level, it would have been very hard. and that's why we scrapped it, I think.
So, that was episode 2.
Already.
In the next episode, we tell you why we stopped having great game ideas, game story ideas.
Story ideas, yeah.
Yeah, and what the second story idea was and how it led to the first prototype of the game and why we scrapped this as well.
Yeah.
So, thanks for watching.
And to make it more interactive, you can ask questions in the comments and about games, about our game or game development. We would be very happy about that to answer this in the next video.
Right. Goodbye.
Goodbye.